Okay. Well, welcome to the new episode. What can we say? What can we say? Where are you, Jamie?
Somewhere in a
Mhm.
hotel.
Yes. Yes.
I can't say where.
You can't say
Jamie
where.
Confidential.
It's all a big
I
secret.
got to be up at 5 o'clock tomorrow in the morning.
Wow. My time, that's 2 a.m. That's right when I get up to go piss. In the
Yeah,
middle of the night.
and my time that's 4 a.m. ish, and I had to get up at that exact time this morning because Jack pissed his bed.
Oh no.
So you
He's
just
been
let
doing
it,
it
so
lately.
you just let it be known what time zone you're in, Yame.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
I did.
Okay. And
It's
that you got there in, less than 6 hours because you cleaned up Jack's piss this morning and now you're there in pajamas and fine. So people could put two and two together.
Yeah.
Can we say you're working on a secret project?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
And can we put a timetable on when we can? No, we can't. We can't say that,
No.
can we? Yeah. Oh boy. I feel like I'm on the inside,
You are.
Yes. Yes. I know exactly what's going on. And I'm so excited for it. I haven't been this excited about something you've done since you made me carrots about a year ago.
I made you carrots.
Maybe carrots and potatoes. I was really hungry on one of those Sundays.
Did I ever make you rice?
You made vegetables. You made fried rice. Yeah, that's a good one. Fried rice.
Yeah.
You know what
Miss your
Jamie would be
cooking.
good at is like if she saw you like in the kitchen looking for stuff, she'd be like, "Oh, here's what I can like. I got this. Like I said, like I got carrots and potatoes. I got this. Like," and she would start firing off stuff at you. Like I could do this. I could whip this up, and you're like, "Ooh."
I just remember the carrots being like, because I normally don't make carrots at home. I just remember you making a carrots and being like,
I made
this
you
is
like
some
roasted
of the
carrots.
best carrots. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure. Thank you.
What did I like that you made? Roasted what?
Sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes.
Your sweet potatoes were good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I think so. Oh, like the broccoli. You do it
Yeah,
right.
you like my
Amy.
broccoli. You like my vegetables. You guys love my vegetables. I love it.
Yeah.
How many times do you guys wake up in the middle of the night to pee?
One.
Once.
You do
Is
it
that
at
a
the
sign
same
of
time?
old age?
Definitely.
No, I've been doing that my whole life. I had to go.
Really?
I thought I had a problem when I was a kid. This is why. Remember, I told that story about the doctor stuck his fingers up my butt. It was
Yeah.
because
I'll never forget it.
It's because I thought I peed too much, and so in the middle of the night, I would get up once, twice, 3 times sometimes to go pee.
That's a
And he's
lot.
like, I'm like, is this normal? He's like, what's normal? I remember him saying that.
This
"What's
guy was a
normal?"
real creep.
Yeah, after he stuck his
Yeah.
fingers in my butt, and I caught him
I
sniffing.
hope his medical license has been revoked.
And he was like, "Oh, this will fix it." And he just stuck his finger in your butt. Do you know which
What the
finger it
fuck?
was?
No, I don't know what.
Did he put do you remember him putting a glove on?
Pointer, right? Middle finger's a little weird to do.
He put a glove on. I mean,
A
as far
ring
as I
finger's
know,
a little short.
If you're
A
doing it to a
thumb?
girl, you want to do thumb, yeah.
yeah, he put 2 thumbs in there. But yeah,
Terrible.
I go once in the middle of the night, but depends on when I stop drinking liquid in the middle of the night. So I've learned to stop drinking liquid past like 6, sometimes 7.
Wow, you are like my child, my toddler. I make him stop drinking water.
I do the same thing. I stop 6 hours before bed.
Yeah, you have to eat.
And, like I'll take like a sip or whatever, but like I'm not like, like right now I could just chug this water. I can't do that at midnight. I'll be up a million times.
Wow.
Yeah. Do you guys ever have to take a shit in the middle of the night? No.
Like never. But it has happened, and it is brutal. Like I'm sitting on the toilet hating myself. I'm like,
Yeah.
you piece of
Is it
shit.
because you ate like a bad dinner?
No, it's just, like once a year, your body goes like, hey, bud, like wake up. We got to get
Once
this out.
a year. Once a year is that's exactly what it is for me. It's like when you have, it's one meal that goes through you extra fast. And it's nothing's worse than being half asleep on the toilet. Because you kind of need a little bit of like, you need your muscles to like activate to get, so when you're half asleep, kind of, you're just sitting there. Sometimes just farting in an empty bowl.
Oh, so I think the more relaxed you are, the better, but it still just sucks
No.
sitting on the bowl. And then like here in New York, like those baby wipes are freezing cold, you know, when you put them on your butt because like the apartment's kind of cold.
Are you like, what are you doing in New York? Like, are you going anywhere? Like,
Yeah, like I mean, like a lot of things are fucking not great right now, but some shit is all right. But it's also like yesterday was 18 degrees. Like,
I know,
like,
I heard it was bad yesterday.
yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, I don't want to, like, I love the excuse to like, oh, it's 18 degrees. Like, you know, do you really want to, whatever? But it's, you know, New York is.
It hit 80 today here.
Yeah,
Oh, did it?
babe, I will be home in 3 days.
You so
This is-
excited?
This is what we're going to do.
So excited.
I
have a story after this. Remind me about the hotel and pooping.
Tell me,
Those who don't like poop, I'm sorry.
we've gone a few pods without talking about poop. I think it's about time.
It's time.
Is this going to be a poop pod?
It's poop
It's
pod.
a poop pod.
This is a poop pod. And when you come back, we're going to, depending on what time you land, I'm going to scoop you up, okay, from the airport. We're going straight.
You're
to
only saying that because
Air
I
One.
already told you I got a ride from the airport. I see how you work, babe.
You can cancel it, okay? You just want to get picked up in a 911 Turbo
I heard
S.
it. I heard it
Yeah.
here.
We're going straight to Air One. Or you could have the car drop you off at my house. I'm on the way. You go straight to Air One. We're hitting the hot food section. And then we're going to go straight to the sand, baby. We're bringing Frisbees. We're bringing a beach towel, one towel for two people. We're going to share one towel.
Is it a big towel?
I'm going to get the smallest towel I have.
So listen, this a really tragic thing happened to me at the hotel, and I was gonna bring it up last week, but it didn't come up organically. And I don't know how to like. It's traumatic to me. So you know how I am with OCD and germs, and I can be, you know, not like the COVID way, more like humans being gross. Like there was a couch there that was velvet, and there were clearly like cum stains on the couch, and I'm just like, ugh, like. Which I don't even think that's OCD. I think anyone is like, ugh, it's like fucking cum on the couch or whatever. So you're just like, you see like this big white circle that like somebody like rubbed it. You're like, this is so gross, whatever. So last day of the hotel, you know how sometimes when you poop, the water can come up and hit you. Like sometimes it just hits your butt, but then like very rare, it's like that bullseye and gets you right where the poop came out. The water fucking goes up. So
it's getting you back. It's like a rebellion of the toilet water.
Yeah.
The people are
like,
rising up.
Yeah, it could take only so much shit, you know, and then it just so and it was this hotel. I'm in a hotel. Like if it's in my toilet, I'm like, you know, like that sucks. I don't want toilet water hitting my butt. But in my head, when that toilet water hit my butt, it was like every single person who stayed in this room just shit in my butt.
Yeah.
Oh.
And peed in my butt. And like when that water hit my butt, I was so like it ruined my whole day.
Yeah. I don't like that feeling.
I don't like
public, it's terrible.
I don't like it. I do like to think that, you know, that's just mainly mostly your stuff going back inside of you, but I can see why you would think that somebody with a OCD. Yeah.
And it's a hotel. People are probably throwing up in there. Like, you know, it's as bad as like, it's just so gross. But anyway, it must be so great. Like you guys own your own homes, you know? So it's like, you really know like, oh, here's the record. Like even I've rented my whole life. I've never owned, but like, I look at it like, I'm so much happier that I'm going to own later in life if I ever own, because like I keep learning these things that I'm like, ooh, that's something I didn't know I needed. Like I grew up where everybody did like their laundry on the second floor and like you all did your laundry together. I didn't know. And now the apartment I have has laundry inside of it. And I'm like, now I come here and I'm doing laundry with everyone here, like on the second floor. I'm like, this is so gross.
You're a savage. Yeah. You know, it's funny. Maybe we should get into hotel best practices because maybe a lot of people out there, you know, because I grew up, my dad worked in hotels growing up. Jamie, you've been in your fair share of hotels, especially recently. What do you do? I'll tell you the first things I do. Okay. I take the top sheet off, the blankety part, and I sleep just in the sheets because rumor is that they don't really wash that top sheet unless you're at a nice hotel. That comes off. or if they have the little strip that lays at the end,
Yeah, you take out.
put it on the ground. Okay.
That's gone. Yeah, that's
Gone. You want to never use your ice bucket. A lot of hotels, sometimes nice ones, will put plastic bags. Even then, I don't like the idea.
Why?
You shouldn't
Why?
have to have them bring you ice.
Why?
Because those ice buckets, just like the remote control, they don't change that out. That's just everyone's filth. Everyone having sex, everyone farting on it. It's in there.
On their
And
ice bucket?
Ice buckets get dirty. You never know what they're putting in. Their fingers, hands going in. It's the same thing with a lot of the maids, they don't get in there and they don't clean that part. They don't clean the remote control. Nice places will put your little hand sanitizer. They'll put a Lysol wipe on it. They'll put it in a plastic bag. You want to make sure you're just touching the things that are getting washed. Because let's face it, there is cum.
But don't
everywhere.
germs die off after like a number of hours?
What did Fauci tell you to say that? No, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you're right, but these are just things that growing up in a hotel, I've learned to do.
I saw there was an article today that said cannabis can block COVID.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, look at you. Rob. I've never seen Rob look this interested before.
Smoking weed can make human cells block COVID.
When was the last time you smoked, James?
Allegedly. Let's say we're not doctors. Allegedly.
No.
Allegedly.
Yeah. It was from Fortune magazine. Last time I smoked, a week ago.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't smoked in months, but Kassem's brother's wedding's coming up, and I'll tell you something. Robbie gonna smoke there.
Why?
Yeah.
Oh, just because it's like celebratory? Like,
no, it's just like that. Like, I just know there's going to be so much weed going around that like the first day I might be like, no, I'm good. And then like the second night, like I'm probably going to be like, you know what? Like because I'm not smoking for any reason.
Yeah.
I'm just
not.
Yeah, I'm just not smoking.
Yeah.
It's going to be a party. Yeah, we're going to have fun. It's going to be good. I'm coming up, by the way, guys, I'm coming up on 5 years sober here in like 2 weeks.
Wow.
That's right, baby boy.
5 years.
Yeah. How you feel about that?
Would have never thought it was going to happen. Proud. Great. Feel great.
Did you ever think that you were going to drink again?
When I first got sober, the idea of not smoking weed or drinking like for more than a week seemed almost impossible to me. The idea of putting together 7 consecutive days and then putting together 2 weeks. When you first get sober, somebody tells you like, you're going to be sober, 30 days, or 90 days, you got to hit a meeting every day. You got to do 90 meetings in 90 days. And you're just like, that sounds fucking impossible.
You go to a meeting every day?
They when you first get sober, because you're most vulnerable and you're most likely to drink or use again in the very beginning, it gets easier as you start, as the further away from your last drink that you get, until, unless you're dry and then you go back. But like if you're working the program and you're doing all that stuff, those first few days, weeks, months are tough, and it seemed impossible to get that many days together in the very beginning. But then it gets easier, and then like in the very beginning, you're like, oh man, do you think I'll ever be one of these guys that has like years of sobriety? That sounds crazy. Like, how do I go to a party? How do I interact? How will I have intimate moments with people if I'm not under the influence? And then it just kind of happens, if you're just if you commit to it and you're there, it gets easier. And then you don't really think about it as much. So it's crazy.
I think for me, like from what I remember in the beginning, it was easy because I wasn't a guy who drank every single day. So like in the beginning, deciding to not drink for a bit, everything was like so new. And I was like, ooh, I'm feeling good and this and how long. But then when I hit like, I don't know how long it was, but then I started getting to the point of like, wait, so I'm never drinking again? Like, and the beginning was easy, right? Because I could tell people like, Oh, dude, sorry. Like, I'm not going to your birthday. I stopped drinking a month ago, and like, so I'm staying away. I'm not going out. But then somewhere along the line, it got to like, well, I'm not going to not go to my friends' birthdays forever. So now I have to start going to these things. And then I'm standing there and I'm not wanting to drink. I'm more so being like, I'm never going to drink again. Like, what about like, and then you start thinking about events and like, oh, what about New Year's? Cause like I stopped drinking in March and I'm like, what about New Year? I'm not going to drink for New Year. But like the day to day in the beginning, I was actually like really excited cause like, it was like, first, I started eating health. Then I started drinking these green juice. Then I started doing yoga. Then and I was like, whoa, like I'm really loving all this, that. And then all of a sudden you kind of hit a point where you're like, like
when you first got sober, was the plan just to not drink for a little while and then it became a permanent thing? Or were you trying to go cut it all out immediately forever in the very beginning?
No, I think that the plan, hard drugs, was to definitely cut out drinking. I just kind of knew I couldn't drink because then I would go back to doing the hard drugs and like doing stuff like I can't, and it was the same thing with like cigarettes. I was like, if I drink, I'm going to smoke. Like if I just can't, but again, like I found the beginning exciting. And then some point, like you kind of got a little, like 6 months in, you're like, all right, like I feel good at this. Like, am I bored? Like, and then you're seeing your friends out and they're like, oh, come on, like do this. And you're like, oh, maybe this. But now like my birthday will be 9 years. And I'm like, oh my God. Like we talked about this, I think on the pod that got deleted, but it was like, I don't know if we repeated it, but I walked into the hotel room that I was staying at where the water hit my butt and I saw all the alcohol, and it wasn't like 4 little bottles. Like it was one of those hotels where it was like full bottle of tequila, full bottle of vodka, like all the full bottles on the thing. And I was like, wow, I'm so grateful that like I don't feel like I have to call someone or call a friend or call the front desk and be like, hey, can you get this out of the room? Because like I just kind of look at it and go like, ugh, like same way I look at cigarettes and I'm like, ugh, like when I see somebody smoking a cigarette, I'm like, what am I in a fucking, like, did I get in a time machine? Like I can't wrap my head around someone still smoking a cigarette. It's crazy.
Hey guys, it's time to talk HelloFresh. Look, HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. The new year is a great time to focus on what's important to you, whether it's saving money by ordering less takeout, learning to cook, or prioritizing your wellness. HelloFresh is here to help with endless options to make cooking at home simple and enjoyable. HelloFresh cuts back on time in the kitchen so you can spend it on your other resolutions. With meals running around 30 minutes or less. Plus, quick and easy meals, including 20-minute recipes and low prep and easy cleanup options, provide an even faster route to putting food on the table. Robbie, do you HelloFresh?
Listen, I love HelloFresh because it saves you time, not only when you're cooking, because like you said, everything is pre-portioned, but also it saves you time. But you open your front door, it's there in a box, ready to go, ready to cook, you're ready to eat. And I know you guys might be thinking like, oh yeah, well you guys love it because they sent it to you for free because they're a sponsor in this. Well, guess what? Go to HelloFresh.com/pajama16 and use code Pajama16. And the reason it's 16 is because you get the offer is up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. So go to HelloFresh.com/Pajama16. If you use code Pajama16, you get up to 16 meals and 3 free gifts. Guys, do you have a business and you're trying to build an online presence for your business? Well, then you need Squarespace. Tell them about it, babe.
That's right, guys. From websites and online stores to marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace is the all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence and to run your business. I know folks that use Squarespace that have, prior zero knowledge to building websites and having e-commerce and things like that. All they had to do was go to one place, squarespace.com, and they had all the tools necessary. Like, for example, being able to sell stuff through their e-commerce. Squarespace is everything to sell anything. Squarespace has the tools you need to get your business off the ground, including e-commerce templates, inventory management, simple checkout process, secure payments. They have video blocks where you can present your own videos from like your own YouTube channel. You can connect all your social media accounts because a lot of people drive traffic from Instagram and other places. So do yourself a favor, make it easy when you're starting your new website and go to squarespace.com. Robbie, tell them.
I'm going to start a business just so I could use Squarespace. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/pajama to save 10% off your first purchase for a website or a domain. That's SQUARESPACE.com.
You know, it's so funny because the cigarettes are like, that's the thing that kind of crosses my mind every once in a while. It's never really alcohol. It's never really weed, but it's like, oh man, smoking a cigarette. That's how powerful ciggies are. It's like, even now I'm like, man, yeah, that was kind of fun. Like I enjoyed doing that, but it's so
Did you stop it all at the same time?
Yeah, I did it all the same. I did alcohol and cigarettes at the same time, and then weed a week later, but like all within the same week, because I was like, if I'm going to feel like shit, I'm just going to feel like shit, and cut it all out. And then I cut all that stuff out and I started exercise. I started boxing 3 days a week, stopped drinking, smoking weed and cigarettes all in the same week. It was like a gnarly first month. Yeah.
When I'm in New York this time, like in the winter, these are the first like fingerless gloves where I didn't have to cut like the index finger and the middle finger all the way down.
Yeah.
To smoke?
Yeah. So I could smoke. Yeah. But like Kasim said, with the cigarettes, there are like when I'm just walking and like doing something and I see somebody smoking, or like, when we're at the beach and someone's smoking, I'm like, oh, you're so disgusting. But I've talked about this before. There's something about like winter, like snow, where like if you have to wait for 5 minutes in the winter for somebody, it's like, you fucking piece of shit. Like while you're standing there, you're like, where the fuck are you? Let's go. But if you have a cigarette, it's like, hey man, take your time. Like I'm chilling. Yeah. I'm smoking.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that moment, those 5 minutes that you give yourself, that's just mine, and like, doesn't matter. You can come to me with whatever, that's where like people.
Does it make you focus? Does nicotine make you focus?
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, it makes you focus. And that's, I remember like working at Best Buy, everyone that was getting promoted, they all smoked because they would all, and I'm sure this is the case with a lot of places that people work together with, but on those smoke breaks, they're just like connecting, like, oh, let's go for a smoke break. Let's connect. And like, then they start, coming up with stuff, and they're like, oh yeah, we went out and we like solved this thing, or we came up with this idea while we're on a smoke break. You're like, I'm getting penalized for not smoking. All I'm doing is I'm sitting here working while you guys are on a break.
It's not as much anymore, but I mean, I would say more actors than not used to smoke, like, especially, in the beginning when I was like, everyone smoked, and it's like, it was weird to not smoke if you were an actor. I felt like.
Well, it might be one of the top like 10 professions in the world of downtime, or like there were times, I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but there were times where like, let's say they would call me to set at 4:00 in the afternoon, and they'd be like, oh, we need like, it's going to be another hour. It's going to be another hour. And then at, midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., they would come to the camper and they'd be like, hey, actually, we're not going to use you today.
Yeah.
Like some shot is taking too long. And you just be like, okay, I just came here for 10 hours or whatever. But you feel like, it's fine. I was smoking.
It was, I remember for like the minute that I smoked, I would all of a sudden when I would like go out for a cigarette, I'd be like, oh, this is where everybody hangs out. I like talked to people I had never talked to before on the set because I was like in this crowd now.
Yeah, there's definitely times where it's like, Jamie, you don't know that guy? Like, oh, he's fucking super cool. Like, yeah. And then you're like, oh, like how that, and like everyone's like, you don't know that guy? Like, oh, he's the fucking best.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a overseas flight. I think I was going to the Middle East, and we stopped in Paris at Charles de Gaulle Airport. And this is when I was smoking. they have these little smoke pods in the airport. Have you ever been one of those where
it must be so gross.
Oh my God. You're in there for 5 minutes. You come out like you feel like you've aged, your clothes stink, but everyone in there, you think you're young, cool and hip because, everyone in there is like super old and they're all like, they're people that had to get their fix. They're, there's the smokers, like I know a person that I work with that just kind of smokes like one a day. You know what I mean? And that's like a level of smoker where it's like, all right, that's fine. It's like one a day. Like, well, who cares? But then there's the people like when I was smoking, it's like, oh, I had to get it in. And you are all these same sort of like had to get it in people are in this tiny little 6 foot by 4 foot box. And there's like air ventilation up top, but it's still not enough. You come in and everyone's just like sucking them down as quick as they can. And it's all clear. It's a clear acrylic box. So everyone can kind of see you. And you feel real dirty and you feel ashamed. You're like, oh man, this is like, you're giving yourself a moment to like, I don't want to end up like one of these other people in this box, but here I am. You come out, you stink. Then you go sit on a plane next to somebody and you smell. It's just bad, but it wasn't ever enough to make me stop. You know what I mean? It was just, that's how powerful it is.
Mm-hmm.
See, you think you felt bad after coming out of there. We used to land in Vegas and they would have the clear boxes you go in and smoke in Vegas, but then they would have slot machines in there. So you'd go in, lose $100 and come out smelling like a cigarette. Everything would be whack. But like, I remember like the one time I left the continental fucking whatever, United States, I went to,
hold on.
North America?
Yeah, North America. There we go.
I think you're talking about a hotel.
I know.
Yeah, it's a breakfast. I went to Amsterdam and I went to Italy, and when we got on the plane and my buddy, we got like the 4 middle seats, so it was 4 of us, and like he opened his tray and we're like, there's an indent for a cup and he just filled it with Percocets. So we were like, everybody would just like grab Percocets and then he was like, yo, I have them here. So like whenever you want, like, and we would just literally like, we'd be sleeping on the plane or whatever. And like something, you'd like open your eyes and look around for a second. And you just reach over, like take Percocets, or we're taking Xanax, like all this just to like make this miserable, like, the flight sucked and we knew it was going to suck. So we were like, yo, just fucking, and then we had another flight after that. But in between that flight, we had like 20 minutes. And when you've taken, I probably took 12 Percocets on that fucking plane. And when you don't have a cigarette, when you're doing Percocets, even if you're fucking napping, you're jonesing. And I remember me and my friend like running to that room, and then you're all out of breath. And it's like, there's almost a sense of like, once you open that door, you don't need to smoke a cigarette. It's just so the smoke and it's nasty and it's this, but like, I remember like chain smoke, like light it, when you light the cigarette with the last cigarette, like we did that with like 3 cigarettes and then ran to the plane.
I'm so glad that my kids really like don't ever see people smoke. Like you really just don't. And so like, I don't think it'll ever be like in their minds to even try. Like, do you know, like when we were young teenagers, like it was so exciting to try it because it's something only adults got to do, right? But I think when you don't even see adults doing it, you don't care.
It's weird how it kind of skips a generation, because like all of my grandparents chain smoked. Like, somebody bought me a bird and I left it at my grandparents' house, and the bird turned yellow because they smoked so much. Like it was not, and Cools, they all smoked Cools. And my great grandmother smoked Pall Malls, and she would just fucking,
what's that?
Just some fucking, they all smoke things that like, like old school shit. And, what was I gonna say? Oh, but then like my grandma and grandpa had 3 kids, and not one of them smoked. Same. And not only did not one of them smoke, they all find cigarettes to be the most disgusting thing in the world.
Yes, my dad, both his parents smoked nonstop, and him and all his brothers think it's the worst. My dad used to embarrass me, like whenever we would walk past like a smoking section in a restaurant, you like back in the day, he would go, "This is disgusting." And I'd be like, "Oh my God, he's so embarrassing." But he's so turned off by it because he was like, every day of my childhood, I'd be in a car with the two of them smoking with the windows down. Like, I just thought it was the grossest thing in the world.
Yeah, there's
I
an
remember-
emotional connection that they've made.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember going to restaurants when I was young, and there would be like a ashtray made out of like tinfoil on the
Yeah.
on the thing, and they were all over the place. And it was like, yeah, like in a restaurant, half of it would be the smoking section and half would not be. But then there was no divide.
No, if you were like on the border, you were basically in the smoking section.
Yeah. So what happened, babe? You had a hair in your mouth? What'd they do to you over there?
I had a hair in my mouth and it's been there for minutes. Now it's out. I have some emails.
Okay, well, I wanted to ask you guys, when you guys were buying a house, did you have, like, what were your major things of like, okay, this is a non-negotiable? Like now I know I need a washer and dryer in my apartment because it just makes life fucking better. Like, I don't need a dishwasher. I don't need I fucking need a washer dryer.
I wanted a space for my kids for not necessarily a playroom, but an area where their shit was, where they watched TV, and then we could have an area where we hung out. So what didn't feel like where we want to hang out as adults had all their toys and everything. Like when we were moving, I was like, I want them to have a space where there's the Xbox and the toys and they hang out and I don't have to they can fuck it up, do whatever. And then I want a space where I enjoy relaxing and watching television when we knew we could kind of upgrade.
So that's how it is now. You guys have
that's how it is now. Yeah. So
what are the good side and is there a downside that's come from it?
Sure. So the crazy part about Texas, I found when I was looking at houses is they do it right where the owner's suite, because you can't say master bedroom anymore. So the owner's suite is on one side of the house and the kids' bedrooms are on the complete other side. And at all our other houses we had, our kids' bedrooms were right next to us. At first it felt very weird to have them so far away, but then we were like, oh yeah, this makes a lot of sense. So we have our bedroom, the middle area of the house, which is the nice living room, dining room, kitchen. And then this way is both boys' bedrooms and another tiny little TV room. So that side of the house is kind of them, where you guys know me, and I as soon as things are wrapping up, everything's clean and put away. I like to have it all set. So on days where I'm not really feeling it, I can let it go because that side of the house, once they're asleep and their doors are closed, I don't have to go to it and I can relax on the couch with our friends or with Cutter and eat food and watch television. And it feels like it's not, I don't know, things being put away and in a space and feng shui calms my mind. And not having to see monster trucks and Paw Patrol fire trucks everywhere is nice.
Yeah, see, I feel like that's ideal. I also feel like I would never go to their side of the house. You know what I mean? It would be weird. I would need a pass to go to my kids' side of the house. They'd have they'd be working on a new religion. They'd have a political, a whole political system in place.
Well, sometimes they'll go in Bo's room and I know they're doing things that'll probably get them hurt and they're playing hard and Cutter's and I'm like, stop, leave them, let them be, let them figure it out. I've strategically planned their rooms in such a way that no one could really get hurt. They could jump off a bunk bed and break an arm, but it's pretty foolproof, knock on wood. But
do you feel disconnected from them
no.
in any of that or no? Or do you just I love it. Every moment I cherish.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Well, they're getting to an age where they're playing better and better every day. They still fight so fucking much. Did you and your brother fight?
Oh, we didn't get along until we were in our mid-20s. He was in his mid.
But you fought all the time when you were kids?
Yeah. I picked on him. He was a sweet boy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My kids, it's equal and they don't fucking stop. It's so that to me is the most annoying part right now of being their parent and their mom is like, they just don't stop fighting. And I don't want to yell anymore. I don't want to I don't know what to do.
When I was staying at my friend's house in Long Island for that week, they had 2 kids and they were 2 boys, and it was 45 minutes where it was like, God, look at them, they're so good, they're so cute, and then bang, it was
45 minutes. I get 4 to 5 minutes maybe of them not fighting.
Oh, well, because you know what would happen? The 45 minutes, I'm counting the separation time. So they would get into a big fight, an argument, then it would be like, you go over there, you play with your toys over here, and you do. So then they would one would be over there, one would be over there, and be nice and quiet, and look how cute they are, and this, and then 10, 15 minutes, all of a sudden it would be hey, do you want, and they would kind of somebody do that, and then they would sit and play for a nice 20 minutes, and then all of a sudden it was someone bashing the other one over the head, there was something I wanted to say before we go on. Perry Caravello did a show called Smiling Friends. He talked about it while he was on here on Adult Swim, and his episode airs this week on Adult Swim. So go check it out.
I feel like it might have already aired too, because I was seeing it on Twitter. But yeah, Smiling Friends, you guys know, the 4th co-host of this pod, Perry Caravello, is on an Adult Swim show called Smiling Friends. Go check it out. Support Perry.
I think they're all available on iTunes or HBO Max, but I have all the stuff here, but it's going to slow me down. But yeah, it's, he said the episode is scheduled to air January 17th. So that would be today when the pod comes out.
Yeah. Perry just put together an incredible week of shows where Tom has been with Perry in his apartment. Tom B week. So go through the YouTube. There's a lot of great highlights and clips.
Cass, when you buy a home, or let's say if you go look for another home, is there something you would look for now that you didn't look for? What are your I know? Because one of the things I realized when I was staying at this first Airbnb, the sink to do dishes made me so fucking miserable. First of all, there's a cabinet right here. So you're just you have to stay away so you don't bang your head while you're doing dishes. But then also the nozzle of the sink came out 1 inch off of the wall of the sink, so you couldn't put a bowl under there and wash it. And I was I've never seen. I'm who made this? Who decided? And it was just so frustrating that I was and it didn't have a thing where my place at Kasim has a great sink in his house where you can take the sprayer. So that's one of the things just from coming here at the age of 36, I realized I'm if I ever had a house, I would want a sprayer.
Mm-hmm. Appliances are important to you, Rob.
Totally. Convenience. Yeah. You know what I've been doing every morning, Robbie?
Tell me. I mean, I know, but they need to know.
I wake up every morning. I do 2 things. I make a hot pot of coffee. And then I put a little Athletic Greens in a shaker mixed with water, and I take a shot every morning that's filled with a lot of the minerals and vitamins that I'm not getting in my diet. So thanks to Athletic Greens, I'm starting my day off right, and it takes almost 0 effort every day.
I know a lot of people who are extremely healthy, and what right they here, have. Babe. Exactly. And what they tend to have is a ton of time. By the way, Kasim's a great example. Before he started working on G4 and he was chilling all day, Kasim had a ton of time to be healthy, and he was a lot healthier. But now, guess what? His gut health is better. He's got more energy. He's optimized his immune system because every morning he wakes up, he does a scoop of Athletic Greens. Now he's feeling better. He was slacking off for a while. Boom. Kasim's back, baby, thanks to Athletic Greens.
That's right. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into flu and cold season. It's just 1 scoop and a cup of water every day, and that's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/pajama. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/pajama to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
So I actually went to my friend's house 2 weeks ago, right when we walked in, bottle of Nutrafol, bang. I'm like, oh, what's this? He's like, dude, this is the only thing I've used in 20 years that has helped me grow back my hair. And I've also heard, I don't want to shout him out. I'm going to ask him if I could use his name. Maybe he doesn't want me to, but there's a guest that we've had on this podcast who loves Nutrafol.
As a man, I feel like this isn't something that we talk about too much, but losing your hair is kind of traumatic. You know what I mean? It's something that you have your whole life, you grow up with, you take for granted. Then all of a sudden, one day it just starts to get thinner. Your hairline starts to go back a little bit. And then, we tie up a lot of our masculinity in our hair, which is a whole other thing. But if there's an easy way to keep that from happening and slowing down the process, wouldn't you be interested in doing that? I know I would.
Nutrafol is formulated with potent botanicals to help you grow your hair as strong as you are. And it's physician formulated to be 100% drug-free. Yeah, and I just want to say, in clinical studies, Nutrafol users saw thicker, stronger hair growth with less shedding in 3 to 6 months. So guys, you're listening to this now. It's like I look back and I go, man, 10 years ago, I wish I learned how to do this. I wish I learned 3 to 6 months from now, you have a fuller head of hair. And also in clinical studies, 72% of men saw more scalp coverage and 86% of women saw improved hair growth after 6 months.
Visit Nutrafol.com and take their hair wellness quiz for a customized product. You can grow thicker, healthier hair and support our show by going to Nutrafol.com and using promo code Pajama to save $15 off your first month subscription. This is their best offer available anywhere, and it's only available to U.S. customers for a limited time. Plus free shipping on every order. Get $15 off at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com. Promo code Pajama for hair as strong as you are. I spent a few years in Venice in a tiny house that I was paying a ton for because it had a pool, but like the house itself was like a pile of shit. And it had a tiny, tiny kitchen, and it had a little rinky dink faucet in the kitchen sink. It made washing dishes a pain. Like I didn't want to be in there, so when I, and it had all concrete, like the front yard area was all concrete. The backyard was all pool with a little bit of concrete around it. And I had a dog and I felt bad that he had no grass. So when I bought a new place, the first thing was I want a yard. And so that's kind of what brought me to this place is I have a nice backyard, a little bit of a front yard too. And then I did all the things like to the kitchen was it's the spot that everyone hangs out in. There's a little breakfast nook. I remodeled the kitchen in a way that I want to be in it now because it's got a nice, counter and a faucet, and it's got a big refrigerator, not like Jamie-Lee's, but it was much better than where I came from. The only thing I would change if I was to upgrade from this place would just be like maybe a nicer neighborhood, and then an extra bedroom because my square footage in the house is kind of small, but even though the yard's big, but yeah, I'm really pretty happy with the place that I've bought, but yeah, I can see like if I had more than 2 kids, it would feel really small.
Yeah. Well, that's what for us, we like outgrew our first house with Bo immediately.
Yeah.
Our second house was great that you guys spent
the best
nights in. It was great. We just needed we just wanted to not feel so like on top of all our neighbors. You know what I mean? Like when we were outside, you just hear everybody talking to their kids, which meant they heard us with our family and our friends and,
Yeah. And you just get used to that. That just becomes normal out here. Like I'm looking out my window right now. I can see my neighbor's roof. I can see his patio. I hear when he pulls his trash cans out, when he has parties, like it's all, but you just get used to that because it's like that everywhere.
Yeah.
It sucks.
The thing that I'm seeing is went up big time during COVID was people getting like a second fridge, to be like, oh, I have a
garage
by the
fridge.
way, yeah, and like a garage fridge. And I only heard of people with houses doing it until shout out to Joey and Yuri, Joe Perino. They have a 1-bedroom apartment in Manhattan and they got a second fridge.
Where is it?
In their bedroom, I think.
Like a mini fridge?
I don't know. I think it's like fairly large because I know like Joey will be like on the phone with me now and he'll be like, yeah, he's like, it's so great. Like if I want a drink, it's like right here in the bedroom.
I love that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, I got like 5 minutes till I turn into a pumpkin. So do you want to read an email?
Yeah, I'll read an email since you are leaving. I'll read you one that is written to all of us. This is from Cheryl. She has written into the pod before, I believe. It says, "Hi, PJ Pants. I really enjoyed this episode, especially the last 15 minutes when you talked about your learned perspectives, philosophies, and experiences. I feel a wavelength that is so comfortable for me, but we don't often get to experience in life. I was inspired by the last email Cassim read and wanted to share my thoughts on what I appreciate about each of you as well." So last pod, we ended with that nice email that he wrote. So this is what she's responding to. "You really put yourselves out there sometimes, and I want to try to meet you where you are. Rob, I see a lot to you that you might wear on your sleeve, but comes through probably in a much deeper way. You have a respect and appreciation for people who struggle with things that most of us are fortunate to never experience. It's not like express empathy. You show it, you live it. Your positivity and inclusiveness seems to come to you like second nature. That's rare and special, and I really wanted to let you know that I see that. Cassim, you're a bit harder for me to read, and maybe you wear your cards a bit close to your chest. I think you show your loyalty, respect, and caring in large part through your intellect. You have your friends' backs, and you show that through your wonderful social graces and sense of humor. You do all you can to put your friends at ease. Jamie, I don't know, but I can only imagine that your health struggles have allowed you to grow in many ways, in ways many never learn. Your aversion to negativity and needless suffering might be a result of the unavoidable suffering you have endured. I agree. It can be very hard to be around people who haven't learned that yet and won't speak directly for you. If we've ever spiraled into the hell that is self-pity and despair, we know we never want to go there again. You've learned and earned your inner strength, and it's uplifting to experience that with you. Mainly, you're a mom who has her head on straight, and there is nothing more important than that. I hope that's all not too much for any of you. It's basically the plane I exist on much of the time. I know how hard it is to find people who can meet me there, and I appreciate your willingness to be open and vulnerable with us so much. Thanks from the heart, Cheryl."
That was so nice.
That's really
Cheryl.
nice. Half of that's me poorly reading, and half of that is just there's some typos in there. So me and Cheryl,
you always got to call out the typos, man.
I just want to let people know I am a bad reader, but it was especially bad here because there's a couple words left out.
He only calls out the vulnerable, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, I go after the easy ones.
You're so hard to read, Cass.
I know. I'm a chameleon. Jamie, thank you so much for coming on the pod.
I'm so sorry to go. Thank you.
No, we appreciate you guesting
me
on Pajama Pants.
So fun. By the way, I watched your Instagram the other day, and I want to order "Don't Wake Daddy" because I think my kids will love it.
Oh, it's so fun. Yeah,
I feel like because it'll be easy for them to play.
It's very easy, and it's.
I'm gonna get it for Jack for his birthday. You guys, he's gonna be 4. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. I got to see pictures of him the other day. He looks like he's getting big, and Bo with his helmet. Yeah, it's crazy.
When do you think he's going to outgrow Bo? Like what age? Because he's going to be bigger than
like
Bo,
13.
Right?
Yeah. Quickly before I get off, we told Bo because now Bo is just obsessed with fucking like gear and like
love gear. No,
you know what I mean? So like now it's like motocross. Like he somehow thinks he's going to be a motocross kid.
Oh yeah, no.
And so I said to him, I was like, well, listen. You count the money in your piggy bank. You buy whatever you want with that. So he woke up the other day at 4:30 in the morning and woke me up at 5 to be like, I have $197. So we were searching online, and he went to a store and he bought a helmet, a dirt bike helmet, and gloves for $197. Now he's going to save up for a dirt bike. But he wakes up at like 5 a.m. to put it on, to just wear it.
Hell yeah.
And
That sounds like something
Cutter's
I
like,
would have done.
something's wrong with him. He's such a fucking weirdo. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, like, part of me is like, he's annoying, but like another part of me is like, he's just a kid that's like so fucking excited about his helmet. And of course, now Jack has to wear like some version of a helmet with like baseball batting gloves to look like Bo.
Just real fast, I totally understand what Bo's going through. I did the same shit.
You
as a kid.
did?
I did the same shit. You'll buy something, but like it's just like part of something else, you know, and it's not fully complete. I remember walking 6 miles as like a 12-year-old. I walked 6 miles to a Circuit City to buy a CD carrying case.
Why didn't your parents drive you?
Because they're just like, they didn't want to take, or they couldn't, like they were working or whatever it was. And I walked to Circuit City because in my head, I get fixated on things, and it's
that's him
get
too.
an obsessive thing. And like when I hone in on something, it becomes my whole world. And like, I can't really focus on other things. And I get really good at this one thing, but like in those, as a kid, it manifested with like stuff. And I still like stuff now.
Well, okay. Well, you're giving me hope for Bo, because now all he'll watch like 2 to 3 times a day is that movie Motocrossed, where the girl cuts her hair.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm leaving.
All right.
I love you.
All right, love you.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
Cass, so when I was a young lad, I had like 8 CDs or something. So it was like right when like my first time that I like bought CDs, I went out and bought 8 CDs. And I remember it was like Jagged Little Pill, like Blues Traveler, Green Day Dookie, like the most random,
Those are some iconic albums you just named.
Yeah, there was like the first Bush album, I think.
16 Stone. Yeah.
16 Stones, like just like some good shit. And I went to the place. I wanted a CD carrying case so bad, but
Can you imagine, what is it about those that were so cool to us?
I don't know, but here's what's so crazy. I knew I had 8 CDs, but I wanted the biggest carrying case.
Yeah, you want to future-proof it.
So I had like an 86 CD carrying case, and I had to like it was like heavy, like, and I had 8 CDs.
They had a handle on it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It looked like 3 briefcases. And I'd be like, yo, I'm going to bring my CDs to your crib, like tell somebody, and then like go over there with my fucking gigantic thing. And then it's like, oh yeah. Oh my God. I can't even fucking.
I don't know what it was,
nerdy.
Man. There's something about, even to this day, that I really enjoy, like organizational things, like things that you put a thing in and it keeps your thing safe and neat. And it's going to be so hard to explain to my kids. Like, yeah, we used to just keep CD cases in our cars because that's how you play music. You'd want to be able to select, go through the pages and select which CD and pop it in. And then you had 12 songs at your disposal at any given moment, I had
8 of them you usually didn't know or never heard or nothing.
Skip through you just listen to the hits. I had one of those for my like PlayStation games, especially because my PlayStation was modded. So I had all my games were like burned on a CD burner, so I had just a ton of games, and I had a CD case for that. And it's just crazy the amount of space that we gave to DVDs, CDs, tapes, even.
Well, you're talking about us because we don't do that anymore. I know so many people, like my dad will still show me, but he'll be like, I got the Secession DVD. I'm going to watch this season. And I'm like, oh my God, dude. Like it's so much easier. Like, but he's starting to get on to like on demand and Netflix and shit. But even like, I know people who aren't even that old where they're like, they have giant DVD collections, and I'm like, like that is just
it's weird
nightmare. Like I have it all on this lab, the same thing I'm potting on, the same thing I do everything on this little laptop. It's all just in there.
Yeah,
really nice.
I remember when Netflix first came out with streaming, it was like no one used it because it streamed in like low def. It wasn't in HD. And only certain movies and things came out on the service. And it seemed crazy to me that one day that we would all just be watching our stuff that way, like streaming it, not having a physical, because people were proud. Like me and my roommates, we displayed our DVDs on shelves and our CDs, because that was our way of showcasing your taste and the things that you liked, was by having all these things in jewel cases available to look at, and it's now it's like there's no one really gives a shit. I don't know if that came about because it stopped being something that you showed people. You just kind of cruise through iTunes and.
Well, now it's like Instagram, what you show them on your phone, that's your thing, oh, here's my Instagram. Now you know everything about me. I'm a fucking this and that. But you know what I remember is when we were in school, there was a time where they were everyone has to bring in 40 what are they called? Index
Proofs of
cards.
Purchase.
No, index cards. Everyone has to bring 40 index cards for this thing or whatever.
Yeah,
and I'm oh, okay. So I have 40 index cards in my book bag or whatever. And I remember showing up to school and seeing some kid next to me, and he had an index card box where it had a top that you took off, and his index cards were all in there, and he would just take that and put it in his book bag. And I was as I was reaching in my book bag, pulling them out one by one, the index cards that were all over the place,
bent.
they were in the creases, in the pages of a book that was in trying to find all of them. And I saw his index card box, and I remember being whoa, I remember telling my mom, Mom, I need an index card. And then I remember having it at home, and I would take it out of my bag when I was home, and I would put stuff, I put gum in there and be I got gum in my index card box. What was it? What were we thinking?
School supply box. Every year you go to school, you used to get a box, and you would inside this box, you would have your pencils, your pencil erasers, your mechanical pencil lead. You would have, sometimes you'd have a protractor, a compass. And before school, and I mean, there has to be other people out there, but before school, the school year started, I would go through the box and lay the things out in the box in different ways to see which way aesthetically looked best and which way maximized the most space. If I keep my pencils horizontal here, and then I can put my eraser here. It was insane the amount of time I dedicated to just organizing my organizational tools and having a pencil pouch. These were things that I got really, really excited about as a kid. And if somebody had something that I didn't have that I saw, when I saw my first fucking hole punch that went into a 3-ring binder, it was one of those ones that were long, but you could clip it into your 3 rings, and then anytime you needed a hole punch, it was there instead of having to go use the teacher's one. Oh, fuck. That got me so fucking hard back in the day.
Somewhere around somewhere around 5th grade, I stopped bringing a book bag to school. I would just borrow a pen and paper from somebody and take notes, and I'd fold that and put it in my pocket.
You were the bad kid. Yeah, you were the bad kid.
I ended up being, and then
you could always tell the kids it was just parents weren't around. They were always borrowing pencils, papers. I would get pissed. Who doesn't how come you don't have your shit together? Where's your school box? Where's your trapper keeper, dude?
I had nothing. And kids used to take, I remember if I asked somebody to borrow a pencil, they would take the eraser off of it. Only had those because they knew they were never getting it back, they were just, and then cause I'd be yo, let me get a pencil. And I'd use it. And then I'd be yo, I'll give it back to you at the end of the day.
And then exactly what kid you were.
I'd go to the park to drink or chill, whatever. After, so I would have a pencil and just throw it out. I'd be I don't want this in my pocket all day. I'm gonna get fucking lead poisoning or stuff. But is there anything that has a bigger reputation, is more well known than a protractor that I feel we used 3 times in all of school?
Absolutely, dude. There was maybe a 6-month period in my entire K through 12 educational career that I used a protractor. That was it. There was one class. That was it. The other time, the only reason you kept a protractor around was because it was smaller than a ruler and it gave you a straight edge. That's it.
Yeah.
I just solved it. You know what I mean? There wasn't having a having a ruler it just, you needed 12 inches of space. You know what I mean? And sometimes that just wasn't going to work. It wasn't going to work. And then they outlawed trapper keepers at my school because they just weren't, even though it was an organizational thing. When you really went and deep dived into a trapper keeper, no organization. It was chaos in there. You know, it was like, it was just papers getting mashed into the pockets. So there were kids using trapper keepers that were still turning in like bent paper. Oh, that was the worst. That was the worst.
Every piece of paper I had ended up being a bent piece of paper.
Exactly the kid you were, dude. I stayed away from kids like you. Always wanted to borrow my shit.
I stayed away from kids like you too, pal.
Yeah, I bet you did. I bet you did.
So I was like, you know, you're on the dating apps out here or whatever, and I'm looking and like, you know, you're going through, and this girl had one thing written about her on her dating app, babe, and this is what it was. I have over 30 cross-cultural friendships. And in all of her photos, it was like, well, I don't even remember if it was.
Here's a Chinese girl. Here's a black girl.
Yeah, I don't remember that. That's like in my, I like thought about that after, but I don't remember. It might have been in her photos. I can't remember, but like that is such, like, by the way.
Can you say it again?
I have 30 cross-cultural friendships. Over 30, excuse me. So like, here's the thing, right? It's almost to me like one of those fucking loser dudes who's like, I've had sex with 62 girls, like, and you're like, what, you fucking nerd? Like, you keep count of how many girls you've slept.
Yeah, she's keeping track, which is like really weird and odd.
And it's like, you know, instead of being like, you know, I don't know if this might be racist, but sometimes like when I have friends, I'm like, I don't go like, oh, that person is like just like I don't try and find out like how they're slightly different from that person, so I could be like, oh, you're another cross-cultural friendship I have. Like, it's just like, yeah, everybody's whatever.
Right. Yeah. I feel like she's sending out an email a week to each one of those friends saying like, hey, this is Amanda, just touching base. I just want to let you know that we're still friends. If you need anything from me, please reach out. Otherwise, I will still continue to utilize our cross-cultural friendship and tell people about it. You know, like she's very.
And then at the end of her email, it's just that fist emoji.
Yeah. Here's to your struggle. I'm imagining that you did not swipe right on her.
No, never. But by the way, people have like, you know, and I talk shit all the time about like, before we had a fucking YouTube show, like I'd see people on YouTube, what are those called? The thumbnail, like making fucking faces. Like that's because I just saw that and I'm like, oh, Gabby loves to use shit like that as like the
yeah. Here you go, Gabby. Yeah. Use that for your thumbnail.
Especially with poker, like I would see these videos and like I watch every week. I don't need you to go like don't use that fucking face, Gabby. But like you know, when people like make the face, whatever. But my point is, some people make those faces then use as a thumbnail. Gabby just takes faces we make on the pod, so people see us on the thumbnail and they're like, "Oh, fucking YouTube!" Like people do this, and it's like Gabby just looks at us, you know, because we always say something where one of us are like, "Oh," like, you know.
Yeah, I really really dislike the thumbnail game, and hate to even be I hate to bring it up, but like early YouTube, we did a lot of that and I always push back against it. But then whenever I did play along, I could see there was a huge like bump in the views, you know, like people like, I don't know what it is about people, but they just like to see you look surprised in a thumbnail. They go like, whoa, what's going on with Cass? Like, oh, what did he see that day? I got to find out. I got to scrub through this video. And one of the, I love everything about my job at G4. It's been such a dream come true. But one of the like least fun days was a day where we had to come in to do a photo shoot of just faces to put on thumbnails. One of the most painful. And every time I see myself,
I just want to say,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I wish I knew. I wish you called me that day.
I know.
So we could have talked because I feel This is the worst I've ever felt for you.
I know. Yeah. And then people go like, hey, you're getting paid a lot of money to like make, I'm like, it's totally okay. But if I had to nitpick coming in to spend an hour going like, doing these, like, now do one angry, now do one inquisitive, and you're questioning, and it's just a lot of, you're like, ugh, and it's all because of like what we did on early YouTube, that there's some like 22-year-old that goes like, hey guys, we've got to do this now. And they get paid like $150K a year to like tell people, this is how your thumbnail should be. Like, this person's job we just did on our own. Like, there's a lot of the YouTube internet game that I really dislike, and thumbnails is one of them. But to Gabby's credit, she does take our faces from the pod, and we don't have to do any of that stuff. So we appreciate you, Gabby.
Gabby deserves all the credit in the world. She does such a good job on it's, I would be repeating myself from like back in the day, but it's like she was the first editor who did our shit where it was like, I have no notes ever. Like, yeah, what you do is fucking perfect. Like she's just really great.
I have an email. This one's to you, Robbie. This person.
Shoot, babe.
This person.
I have 30 cross-cultural friendships. What do they want to know? By the way, you see how you handle something like that when you live the life. Like, I do a podcast with two of my best friends. One is Ethiopian and Puerto Rican. The other one is Cuban. You don't hear me fucking throwing it out there and then this and that. I just fucking sit back and go, yeah, these are my friends. I don't put on I do a podcast with a fucking Jordanian and that.
No,
just
you
fucking, don't. Just live. When you live that life, it's like what they say about fucking tough guys, right? They don't walk around going, I'm the toughest guy. Like the guy who fucking walks around saying he's the tough guy is usually the guy who fucking gets knocked out, or whatever. You don't fucking throwing it in people's faces. You got 30 cross-cultural friendships.
Get it off your dating profile. Get it off your dating profile. Unless
How dare you?
You work for the United Nations. We don't need to hear it. And even then.
She's too sophisticated, but I wish she was a listener of this pod who sent in her dating profile when we asked for them so that we could have told her, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen on a dating profile.
Right. Yep. God, I wish. I hope to God. If you do listen to this pod, sometimes we do dating profiles. If you're not too embarrassed and you think you have something that's just as egregious on your dating profile, please send it in. Please send it in. AskPajamaPants@gmail.com or on our Instagram. Okay, this email's from Max. Subject is asking Rob about Yorkville/E92.
Hell yeah, dude.
Crew. I grew up in Yorkville where they shot Joey Peeps, and I'm a few years younger than Rob. I always knew from Wikipedia you had lived in the area, but in a recent episode, you 92nd down the block from me. This made me want to ask Rob to just share anything else that's in his heart about Yorkville. Are you a Delizia guy? Are you the reason?
Oh my God,
Okay.
I had dinner there. Fucking Delizia is my favorite fucking Italian place growing up. I had dinner there fucking 3 nights ago with my family. That was my number one spot. I feel like this is one of my friends fucking with me with this email, but that was one of my favorite spots. Yeah, I walked up that hill afterwards. It was freezing. There's snow everywhere. Wind's hitting you in the face, but it's Delizia's is the best. But by the way, like, that's one of the few places that are like still around that were good, because as I walk up there, closed. You go by your favorite bars, Rathbones, closed. Like all these places are just like, fuck, it's so sad. And
what do you order at Delizia? What's the go-to meal?
So what I used to order when I'd sit in my crib by myself taking Percocets and just fucking doing drugs and not see anyone for 2 weeks, I would order large pie, half pepperoni, chicken franchise with a salad on the side, and a penne alla vodka. And then I'd get 12 garlic knots with butter. And I would eat all of that in one sitting and then not eat again for like 24 to 36 hours. And the guy knew my order. Like I'd call up like,
yeah.
Just knew me all good. And all the other places I would shout out right now, I walk by all closed. Like there was a place we called it the Spiz. It was called Gracie's Corner on 86th and 1st. And there's no one you would ever meet in the restaurant industry who tried to get you off the phone faster when you wanted to order food. And he would like not take your, like, I can't tell you how many times I'd have to call back and be like, hey buddy, like I need.
Okay, let me call in. You be the guy from Skippies. What's it called?
So we called it the Spiz, but it was
The Spiz,
Gracie's Corner. Yeah.
Gracie's Corner. Okay, I'm gonna call in. I'm from out of town. I'm obviously
Yeah.
I don't live. Okay. Ring.
Yeah, hello, buddy. How you doing? Like it is like that guy. You know the one. I won't do the impression the whole time because it's
Okay.
whatever.
Okay,
But
here we
the
go.
one line that he used to say was whenever you order.
No, use it in the role play. I want to.
No. Listen, because if you said like, oh, okay, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, is this Grace's Corner?
Yeah, Gracie's. What do you want?
Yeah, I was wondering what kind of food do they sell?
It's a diner.
Okay, yeah, I was looking. Do you guys have?
Okay.
Yeah, do you guys have a hamburger?
Okay, you want that with the Greek salad and the fresh?
No,
That's
I don't
what he
know.
would always yell.
I'm sorry. Did Greek salad? I
Do
just
you want
wanna-
the Greek salad and the fresh?
Oh, does that come with the burger? I'm just.
Yeah. Okay. What's your address?
Well, I don't know if that's what I want yet. Do you guys? Do you
Hey,
guys?
hold on. Hey, we're gonna put out to a burger with the Greek salad and the fresh. Okay, buddy. Where do you live?
Oh, it sounded like you just placed that order. I don't know if that's what I want. Do you guys have anything vegan or any vegan options?
Yeah, I don't even know what his fucking. I only have like that down in his accent, so I don't want to do like another accent for other thing. But he would yell at you and because he knew me, I didn't have to give my address. So I'd be like, "What's up?" Like there was a way we had like a tour where I was like, "What's up?" I would be like, "What's up, buddy?" And I would like talk like him, you know. So then I'd be like, "What's up, buddy?" I'd be like, "What's up, buddy?" And I'd be like, "Okay, let me get the grilled chicken." Because I always had the same word, so I'd be like, "Let me get grilled chicken with fries," and I would ask for a cup of barbecue sauce. And then like whatever, mozzarella sticks or whatever. And he'd be like, okay. And it would be click, just like hang up. But there were times where like there would be people at my crib being like, yo, I want a burger and fries, or like I want this and that. So I'd have to call back and be like, he'd be like, hello, like he'd be like, Gracious. That's how it's called, Gracie's. And he'd be like, Gracious. And I'd be like, yeah, buddy, wait, like I also want this and like I want that. And he was just like, they just wanted you. And then when we were in there, like they wanted you out or whatever. Unless sometimes we went in there at like 5 a.m. like coming home from a club or some shit, just because they would serve us Heinekens when bars were closed, and we would like sometimes they would let us smoke, and then people would start coming in like 6:30 a.m. for like a fucking roll with butter and see us sitting in the corner like drinking Heineken, smoking cigarettes, like so gross.
Oh, gosh,
yeah,
what a different life. All right, well, yeah. His next question is: do you still spend time there? I think you answered that. You visited recently. Where did you get that cool accent? I don't seem to have mine. He says.
I don't even know I have an accent, but it's probably like, from spending so much time like on set of Sopranos and then like moving to Vegas for a bit and LA. And I don't know. I don't even notice I have an accent, but I've seen videos of me when I'm like 12 years old and my accent is way worse. Yeah. Like I'm like, oh man, you guys you gonna do it in the car? Like, my accent is just like wild. Like I'm like, I don't even know I used to talk like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's a great place to end it. Thank you, Max. If you guys have emails you want to send us, askpajamapants@gmail.com. And Robbie's coming home next pod. Hopefully it'll be in person. Great to see you. I've been keeping your seat warm.
100% it'll be in. I'm going to be sitting right. Put your arm out like that, babe. Yeah. It's your boy.
Gabby, do something with this.
Oh, you're asking her to earn her keep this week, huh?
Yeah, that's it. We appreciate you guys listening. We're on YouTube. If you're watching this, click the subscribe button, click that notification bell. That way you know when our videos go live, which is every Tuesday mornings as of right now. We're on Reddit, r/Pajama Pants Podcast. We're on Instagram. That's it. Rob's off the grid. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. Really,
and the longer I stay here, the more in New York I'm gonna get. So I gotta come home and
and just slow down a little bit. Yeah.
I gotta detox because I was out today. It's like fucking 18 degrees wind hitting you in the face. You're walking into stores, like, hey, wear a mask. And then like everything is just so like like it's so fucking cold. Like there's ice on the ground, so you're like slipping. Like your head is in the clouds in LA, man. Like mine, I'm talking about. Like you're just like, was that mountain there last week? Like, it's like no, we're here. It's like yo, the light changed. Like this, watch out. There's a bike. These bike lanes in New York City are death traps. Right. Death traps. Like I would love to see the number of like old people killed a year by bikers. It has to have gone up 10,000% in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Like New York is listen,
There's a charm to it though. I mean, it's like no place on earth.
It's a young man's game too. The older you get, the more you're like, after like 2 months in the like, if this was the summer, I'd be like, I'm never coming home. The fact that there's ice on the ground out there, like I feel the cold coming in through my sneakers when I'm walking around. I'm like, yo, this is fucking stupid.
Come on home. We're ready for you.
I'm coming.
All right, boys and girls, that's it for us. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching and listening.